We take a very strategic approach. When we work with the client, we start with a strategic licensing plan. We basically sit back and do a lot of research ahead of time, answering two questions. Number one is, where can your brand extend? And number two is, how much revenue should you expect from these partnership deals? Find the answers to these two key questions. And then once we have them, then we have a really good roadmap. Then we get engaged to go execute, which makes it a lot easier once you are all aligned on what the plan is.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by Write For Me, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here today with Stu Seltzer, president at Seltzer Licensing Group. Stu, how are you today?
Great to meet you. Great to be here.
Excellent.
All is well.
Hey, I appreciate you spending some time with us on Business Ninjas. Please tell us a bit about yourself and about Seltzer Licensing Group.
Thanks, Andrew. Seltzer Licensing Group is a global brand licensing agency based here in New York City. We also have an office out in Los Angeles, and we are really in the business of helping companies grow using brand licensing as the business model. And that is essentially what we're here to do. And whether that's helping a company license in a brand, whether it's a t-shirt company that wants to get a boost in sales, so they license in the Batman brand, or perhaps it's a company that owns a lot of very famous IP, like our client, Scott's Miracle-Gro, that makes fertilizer. They're the number one brand in lawn and garden. And whether they want to license out their brand, which we do on their behalf, where we license out Scott's and license it to a company that makes a garden glove and a garden hose and a garden tool and things like that. Okay. So big picture, to really help companies grow using licensing as the model. We've been around. This is our 26th year in business.
Wow.
And that's what we're here to talk about. And on top of that, we're here to talk about a book. I just wrote a book, Brand Licensing for Dummies.
There you go.
And so I've been doing a lot of marketing around that. So that's why I'm thrilled to be here and to help promote the book and really help promote the whole idea of another way to grow your business.
Excellent. Well, obviously you spent your career boosting other people and their image and their products and their likenesses. Let's talk about you for a second. What's your background? What brought you to launch your own licensing group 27 years ago?
Good question. I'll give you my career in a nutshell. I worked first as a CPA accountant at Arthur Andersen years ago in 1987 after I graduated Lehigh, but then shortly after business school, got a job in fashion. I worked at Yves Saint Laurent. And while working at Yves Saint Laurent, that's where I learned this whole business of licensing. And that's where I worked on my first ever licensing deal, working on the deal to license out Yves Saint Laurent to Luxottica to make eyewear. But Yves was alive and well back then, and he focused on making dresses for women that sold for $5,000 to $10,000 each, and the whole couture women's dresses. Everything else was licensed. We had Cartier making our jewelry, Schwartz and Benjamin making our shoes. We had about 15 licensing partners. All those partners were global, but it was a tremendous business model, and really enjoyed kind of being part of that growth spurt and seeing licensing in action. The company was then sold. Today, it's part of the Kering Group, which also owns Gucci and many other fashion brands. But that's when I was recruited to work at another licensing powerhouse, which was Warner Brothers, and worked on the Batman brand. And to put it in perspective, working at Warner Brothers, there were 450 different licensing partners at Warner Brothers just on the Batman brand. There are another 500 plus partners on Looney Tunes, another 300 on Harry Potter. I worked just on the DC Comics Batman movies, also on Superman, and really enjoyed that. And that's where we licensed everything from toys, video games, trading cards, you name it. And did that for a number of years, really enjoyed that, and then set up this shop. And my job was eventually transferred to LA from New York. And at the time, wanted to stay in New York and left and started this agency. One other thing I'll share is that for the past 22 years, I've been teaching a class at New York University, a class on brand licensing. It's a class for undergrads. We get a lot of sports. It's a required class if you're a sports management major or a sports marketing major, and get a lot of marketing majors. And it's undergrad class, full 15-week long. And we have a lot of really exciting guest speakers. We take the class to the Toy Fair conference here in New York City and took them to the Magic Apparel trade show in New York City. But yeah, it's in fact, based on that class, I was able to have enough content to write the book with my co-author. So that's a bit of a nutshell on me.
Excellent. I don't know where you find the time for all this stuff, but I appreciate you giving back. Obviously, your insights into the industry have to be invaluable for those young, wide open minds.
Thank you.
I assume branding has changed a lot in the last bunch of years, and in some ways, I would think it's easier to enforce today than it used to be back in the day. That people could get away with, counterfeit licensing a little easier now that we all have video cameras in our pockets and there's AI to scrub the web and things like that. Is that the case? Is there more of a crackdown on illegitimate licensing today than there was in your early days?
It's interesting. It's almost like whack-a-mole, because as fast as you catch them, the counterfeiters will come up with another angle. They'll do something on Amazon or change their name. And, with the internet, there's all types of counterfeiting out there. And we have a lot of clients that fight this every day. And on their behalf, we're out there fighting for them and flagging things and working with some of the bigger retailers to make sure they only buy and sell these official licensed products, whether it's from our client, which is one of our clients is the National Parks, the National Park Foundation or Red Cross, or even, the basics like our client Good Humor and Airheads and the entertainment brands that we work with. There's always been counterfeiting, unfortunately. I mean, from my days at Yves Saint Laurent, I remember all the counterfeits down on Canal Street. But unfortunately, I don't know if it will ever go away, but it is a fight that certainly continues. And the tools to fight the fight are better than ever. But those counterfeiters are, keep coming up with new ideas. So we'll see.
I guess there's industrious people on every side of the fence, as they say.
Yeah.
You said the name of some, Fortune 100 companies there. Talk a bit about, usually ask what verticals you service. This is a pretty agnostic approach. If you have a license, you have a logo, you have a trademark, they're potential clients for you. Is there any particular industry that you serve?
So I would say more than half of our business is really focused on these corporate brands, particularly like CPGs, consumer product goods.
Yep.
So we do a lot of work with Unilever, such as Good Humor ice cream and Popsicle and Dove soap. We do a lot of work with Airheads candy, Blue Diamonds, Chapstick, Suave, and Kellanova, and the other corporate brands that round it out are brands like Rust-Oleum or Mack Trucks, Zippo lighters, and things like that. So those are some of the bigger corporate brands. And within the same mix, we do a lot with the nonprofits. Currently, we're working with the American Red Cross, also the National Park Foundation. In the past, we were working with the American Ballet Theater and many other charities. So that's been the crux of it. We also, because of our expertise or my own background in entertainment and some of the teams, we've worked on behalf of NBC TV and represented a lot of their TV show properties. I'll mention one since it's similar to your podcast name. We've been representing American Ninja Warrior, the TV show. So on their behalf, we've licensed out their brand for apparel and hats and socks and all that, even backyard equipment where you can build your own little obstacle course. But the big one that was been very exciting is we licensed out the brand to a gym operator to create the official American Ninja Warrior Adventure Park, which the flagship one was in Santa Ana. They opened up a second one in Denver. And basically we had the set designer help craft this. And it was this great adventure park inside a mall where you can go and run the basic obstacle course, and great for kids' birthday parties and great for adults that want to compete, that actually want an awesome workout and try to compete at these, in this parkour sport, which is actually going to be an Olympic sport in the next Olympics.
I can only imagine the waivers that have to be signed in a mall.
Right.
Do they set the
Exactly.
things? That's kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
What are the most common problems you're solving for your clients?
Well, the big thing, what I started to say is that we see brand licensing as a growth engine. And if you're a manufacturer and you're looking for growth, one of our clients is Dove Soap, and they recently licensed in, just as a fun collab, they licensed in the brand Crumble Cookies. And then there was fun growth there. They reached customers they never reached before. And so if you want to boost your sales in that way, that is a great way to look at these partnerships. Another idea is to, if you're sitting on some famous IP, that you might want to turn it into some revenue, and you can license that brand out and generate some royalty revenue. Similar to the way I described the work we're doing with Scott's, the work I'm doing with a lot of them. All of a sudden, the company that's making the garden glove and the garden hose and the lawnmower are paying a royalty back to Scott's. And that's found money because they are, they're spending tons of money on their own to boost their brand and make sure it's the top brand in the industry. Now they can leverage it to others that will pay them a royalty for using their brand.
Music industry, we always loved mailbox money. I guess
Right.
companies have discovered that it's not such a bad pathway for them as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Along those lines, I'll share that our focus is really on trademark licensing. And, when you talk about music license, there's tons of music licensing. A lot of that is involved in the copyright area. And then there's a whole nother area called patents, where the patents are on inventions and things like that. But what we're focused on are really the brand names, the trademarks. And, we see a lot of value in these big companies that are sitting on these amazing trademarks that can be extended to other products and services.
Gotcha. What's the biggest differentiator for the Seltzer Group? What makes you stand out from your competitors?
We've been very fortunate. We have a really good team of professionals on the team. And I think what makes us stand out is we take a very strategic approach. When we work with the client, and whether it's working with, UPS or Scott's or Zippo, or in the past working with General Electric or so many other large corporations, we start with a strategic licensing plan. We basically sit back and do a lot of research ahead of time and create almost a McKinsey type report answering two questions. Number one is, where can your brand extend? And number two is, how much revenue should you expect from these partnership deals? And to get there, it's a 80+ page project, including executive interviews, competitive analysis, market sizing, looking at the scan data from retailers to really find the answers to these two key questions. And then once we have them, then we have a really good roadmap, and we stand behind our own projections there. And then we get engaged to go execute, which makes it a lot easier once you are all aligned on what the plan is.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, hey, switch gears for a minute. Talk to me
Sure.
about licensing for dummies.
Yeah, thank you. So the book came out, and it's like a 300+ page book. Came out May 28th this year. However, just this week, I should announce, just this Tuesday, the audiobook was released, which is fun. So it's now an audiobook version. It's also being translated into a few languages. And my co-author, Stephen Extract, is the founder of the most important newsletter magazine in the industry called License Global Magazine. And he is an expert journalist and magazine publisher. And we teamed up because I have been, he's focused on writing about the industry, not so much doing the deals. And we've been doing the deals and teaching the class. So I have a lot of content from teaching the class. And, it's our overall goal with this book is to really bring this concept, bring in this methodology of brand licensing to a wider audience. And by teaming up with Wiley and the Dummies series, I think they told us we're the, 532nd title in their Dummies series, but they are a marketing machine. And so it's been a pleasure working with the Wiley team that own the Dummies brand. And, it's our hope to really have this licensing model go even wider.
Excellent. I'm guessing Morgan Freeman isn't the narrator on the audiobook.
He isn't. He isn't. However, the one that is I was very impressed with. I actually took a listen, and it was, he put a lot of work into it. So it is
Excellent.
very good it was really nice to hear I think his name is Jim something, Dennison maybe, but very good.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. I'll throw you a lob.
Sure.
What role has content played in the growth of Seltzer Licensing Group?
When you say content, I think of, all right, what are some of the entertainment content perhaps that is out there? And I'll share another example. We worked on behalf of NBC TV show on The Office TV show. And so for The Office, we wrote them a plan, identified a lot of white space at the time. We started working with them about 8 years ago and found a lot of fun, exciting partners that weren't being done with this amazing brand. And we were also lucky because The Office itself became an internet phenomenon on Netflix and on Peacock, and tremendous viewership online. In fact, the viewership online was bigger than when it was a hit primetime TV show. So when we did the basic products, like the t-shirts and hats, they weren't just, okay, we have a t-shirt. No, all of a sudden it became a #1 seller at Target in the month of September 2021, which was during the pandemic. Everybody was home watching these shows. But by having the merchandise ready to go, all of a sudden it catapulted their show, their merchandise to the top. But we also were able to do a lot of fun things. Talk about content. The TV show is about a paper company. So we helped create a real ream of paper that you can buy, a ream of copy paper branded as Dunder Mifflin. And we did this deal directly with Staples and Quill, and they became the distributor, the exclusive retailer for this product. And just a lot of fun and lucrative for all parties. And it was priced right. It wasn't much more expensive, maybe another nickel for the ream versus the unbranded one. So it really worked well. So when you have a lot of fun content in these TV shows, they can translate to not just a t-shirt, but to other creative products like that.
No Beet Farm licensing deals in the
Right. There were a lot of t-shirts that had the Shroot Farms on them. But yeah, we didn't do any there were no beet farms or beets or anything like that. But that is a very good idea.
The pandemic provided an unbelievable opportunity for a show like that, right? It was binged from beginning to end repeatedly during the pandemic. Tell me about the challenges and opportunities for your business to grow during that time.
Well, yeah, it was definitely interesting times because we work with brands like American Red Cross. We had licensees that were benefiting, such as a licensee that makes hand sanitizer. Okay. Hand sanitizer and the basic first aid kits were being bought up like wildfire everywhere. We also had Scott's and Miracle-Gro. Miracle-Gro had another boost because all of a sudden gardening doubled in size. Like all of a sudden the number of people who were doing home gardening had a boom. So those were really positive developments. On the flip side, we were working with Del Monte and on some food alliances, and Campbell Soup has been a client. And they, some of them had booms, some of them had busts. There was certainly some challenges with some other client products, but that's, we were lucky to be in a good position that we had a good mix. So while some clients did well, others didn't, but that's how it goes. Gotcha. And there's a lot going on also. If you remember, the movie theaters were closed and a lot of licensing happens around movies. Sure. The biggest brands of all time in our industry are movie related, including Star Wars and Spider-Man and Batman and Lion King and so forth. So when the movie theaters are closed and you can't see the new version of the Minions, which happened, that movie was postponed, all of a sudden all the movie related products are not being bought in. Maybe they're being delayed by the Walmart buyer or being delayed by the end consumer. They're not as excited to go buy the new version of the Minion product because the movie's not out. So there was a lot of lot of confusion in the market. There was a lot of challenges in that arena as well. So again, we were in a fortunate position to have a pretty wide portfolio of clients that some did well, some had challenges.
Gotcha. All right. Look down the road a year from now. What are some things you'd like to be celebrating personally and professionally?
Well, I must say this year has been a good year for the company. I personally was given a great honor this past year as being inducted into the Licensing International Hall of Fame, which was a great honor, which I really enjoyed. Looking forward, I'm really enjoying my team, working with our team. We're doing more and more work globally. We just picked up some new work that we're working on a global basis for, and we've been doing global work forever, but we're really fortunate to have some great clients. And for looking ahead a year from now, the National Parks has been a client for a couple of years, but this coming summer in 2026, they're going to be celebrating and activating around America's 250th anniversary. That will be one of the places to celebrate and so forth. So we see a lot of new partners coming on board for this celebration and enjoy that. We have a lot of new products coming out with some of our partners, from Dove soap to the Unilever ice cream team, which is being rebranded as Magnum Ice Cream Team as they spin off. But it's really exciting times. We have a number of other pitches. We're going to various trade shows. We go to about 18 trade shows a year.
Wow.
And we've gotten into the habit. We've always created like a little recap video of the trade show that we would share with our clients. We've now been sharing that with a greater public, and we put these video recaps together. We put them on our YouTube channel, and we just did one for the Atlanta shoe show. We did it for the gift show in New York. We did it for the Expo West food show in Anaheim. And you can go onto our website or just our YouTube channel and view a 2-minute recap to see all the licensing activity going on at these trade shows. So that has been growing, and we've been looking to even amplify that even further as a way to really help provide leadership in the industry and continue to educate the public. And we've been looking at different online tools to help us get there as well.
Excellent. Well, hey, congratulations on your induction in the Hall of Fame. I look forward to receiving my Stu Seltzer bottle.
Thank you.
Please tell us, what's your URL? Where can people find Seltzer Licensing Group? And what social media outlets do you use as well?
So the website is straightforward. It's seltzerlicensing.com. And again, we have a YouTube channel, which again is at Seltzer Licensing. I'm very active personally on LinkedIn. That's the main thing that we're on. We do have some other channels, but it's, for the most part, we're still focused on using LinkedIn and, as far as our social media right now.
Well, I'm hoping there's no one young enough watching that doesn't understand the branding behind your head. Those are old-fashioned seltzer devices right there.
Yeah.
Stu Seltzer, thank you for spending some time with us on Business Ninjas. All the best to you and yours, and continued success at Seltzer Licensing Group.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity.
My pleasure. Be well.